Hey, everybody. So today we are talking about safety. And I'm curious, just from jump, what does that mean to you? When I say safety, what do you think of? Or what do you think of as the challenges to your safety? Or what do you think of as something that makes you feel unsafe or, threatens your safety? Just put it in the comments. I'm really curious to hear what you think about that. When I think of safety or lack of safety, what I actually think of is our core, deepest motivation for everything that we do. Fundamentally, on a deep psychological level, every one of us is on a quest for greater safety. And we feel unsafe fundamentally, or I should say, oh, shoot, there goes the recorder. Awesome. Technology challenges. Gotta love that. Fundamentally, if we don't feel safe, we have to find our way back to safety. It's like a really, really core psychological principle, like and everything. When I'm sure you've heard of the phrase self-limiting beliefs, right? And what those fundamentally are concepts that we developed when we were really little, about how to make ourselves get back to safety. If we felt threatened, if we felt unloved, what did we believe was true then that got us back to being safe, to feeling loved? Because love and safety, emotional support and material support, are fundamentally the same thing. It's something that I call the love and money wound. That's part of the body of work that I teach that's called Heal Your Sales Wounds. If you're interested in that, you can go check out my website and learn lots more about it. But it's this idea that emotional support and material support are fundamentally intertwined within one another. And anytime we feel threatened or unsafe or unstable or unloved, it triggers really deep stuff, and it makes us kind of act crazy. I shouldn't say crazy. It makes us act in ways that make sense and serve our needs through the lens of who we were when we were a little kid. And in our modern world, so much of the vitriol and intensity that we see in ourselves and in other people is fundamentally, in my opinion, caused by this lack of safety and a desire to get back to safety. So, and that's true across all areas of life. And I have had on my Facebook wall today a long conversation going on about an online dating experience that I had today. I matched with this guy, and fundamentally, I determined that he was kind of creepy. In other words, not safe. But it's, what I recognize in myself is that I'm trying to accomplish stuff. I'm trying to get places in life. I'm trying to put a message out into the world. I'm trying to grow my business. I'm trying to establish a committed relationship with a man. There's a number of things, right, that I want to make happen in my life, in my world. And I noticed myself getting derailed. And I know that those derailments are all the same. They're all related. They must be, because how we do anything is how we do everything. And so I'm a wounded healer, fundamentally. I have these same struggles that I see in so many other people. And I'm working on it for myself, and I'm helping other people work on it for themselves. And so I wanted to share a little bit of the things that I've been learning in the last few days, because this is really up for me personally, in the hopes that it's helpful for you. And if it's really helpful and you want more of this, I also want to let you know that I do this more intensively with clients. And if you like my style and you want to get some help from me in fixing your shit and finding your own way back to safety, come check out my website. You can find out more about the coaching that I offer. And also, I receive patronage. So if you're somebody who likes the stuff that I put out into the world, and you appreciate the emotional and intellectual and spiritual energy of what I'm putting out in the world to catalyze the transformation. If you like it, if you want to be in support of it, I invite you to support me financially with PayPal or with QuickPay. Any kind of contribution is awesome. Appreciate it. It funds these videos, right? And also allows you to be a part of what I am creating, this spiritual, energetic, intellectual, emotional, transformative body of energy that I'm working on creating inside of myself and with everybody who hears what I have to say through my words, through these videos. So let me just kind of give you the highlights of what I have learned, what I have taken away these last couple of days with regards to safety and what causes it to crumble or cause it to feel like it's crumbling, and then also how it shows up. And one big way that I think a lot of you watching can relate to is that when my unsafety flares up, it manifests as anger. And a lot of the time lately, most of my anger is politically directed. I know for sure there are lots of people that share this view with me. Many of us are very, very angry at what we see going on politically out in our world, right? And there's a way in which anger is motivating, and anger is fuel, and anger is helpful. But there's also a way in which it's not. There's also a way in which anger is destructive, not just for whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish out in the world, but it's destructive internally. It's not a helpful emotion to experience on a regular basis, right? It's not good for the cells of our body to be swimming in anger all the time. It's not healthy. So I've been thinking a lot about it, and a lot of my understandings recently are motivated from some of the dating that I've been doing. I've put myself back on the market, so to speak, and have been having some interactions with some men on some dates. And a couple nights ago, I was on a second date with what I thought was a perfectly lovely man, and he said something about being a Trump supporter, and I lost my shit. I got so angry at him, and afterwards I thought to myself, "Oh my God, what was that?" And because I have previously come to the conclusion that when I get angry, it's because I feel unsafe, I started looking for what was it in what he said that made me feel unsafe. And that's a question that I would encourage you to ask yourself when you feel yourself becoming enraged. When you feel hey, Jenny, nice to see you on the video. When you feel yourself becoming upset and maybe overreacting, ask yourself, what just happened that made me feel unsafe? Because almost always, almost by definition, when we are enraged, we are in attack mode, it's because we feel that we are being attacked. We feel unsafe. We feel like we have to defend ourselves, and we bring out our words and whatever else that we do, emotional manipulations, whatever, to try to restore our safety. And so the best way to, hey, Mel, awesome to have you on another video. The best way to kind of bring our emotions back into a realm that is useful, as opposed to venting rage that is generally not useful. It can be, but so often it's not. The best way to do that is to identify, why am I not safe? What happened to make me feel unsafe? And get into inquiry about that and allow the answers to come to you. I also want to talk about how this shows up in business and with money. Because I referenced already the work that I do with entrepreneurs and business owners, which the body of work that I have is called Heal Your Sales Wounds. And it talks about what is the resistance that we feel when we are trying to make sales or deal with money or make ourselves visible in our profession or, whatever. And I've identified 6 primary sales wounds. And these sales wounds fundamentally are the false beliefs. They're the false beliefs that we have developed about money and salesmanship and success that leave us incapable of conducting salesmanship, running our businesses in an ethical way, because these are the beliefs that are the result of having felt unsafe at some point in our life. They are the result of having felt as though we are subject to somebody else's will in a way that is not helpful, not pleasant, not beneficial to us. So, for example, the selling wound, which is sales wound number 3. The selling wound is one of the most is kind of the definition of the selling of the sales wound. Let me start again. The definition of sales wound number 3, which is the selling wound, is that, and it's I phrase it as a limiting belief, as a false statement, which is sales is a zero-sum game. It's either them or me. And you can damn well better be sure that it's not going to be me. So I'm going to do everything I have to do in order to close this sale. Right? Isn't that what most of us think when we think of salesmanship? We think of people that are just trying to make the sale, trying to get money from us. And if we ourselves are the ones who are trying to make the sale, we think that's what other people think of us, right? And you're like, I'm not at all that way. That's not how I believe, but you're afraid that that's what people think you're doing, right? When you're calling them up, or when you're sending an email, or whatever it is you're doing to try to make a sale, you're afraid that that's what people think of you. And that comes from a wound. That comes from a feeling of unsafe. And it varies depending upon your particular flavor of it, why exactly you feel that way. But it broadly, it's this idea that that you feel as though when you hold that belief, you feel as though making the sale, having the money, being successful in that way gives you power, gives you success, gives you safety. And that if you don't do that, therefore you lack safety. So, and obviously that's on a very deep level, but that's where our biggest self-limiting beliefs and our behaviors that shoot ourselves in the foot all come from, is the really deep stuff. So I didn't want this video to be super long today, so I'm going to wrap it up with that. I hope this has been helpful. Please leave me comments that let me know what you think about this issue of safety. What is it that makes you feel unsafe? What do you think of when you think of unsafety? And what do you think about a couple of the examples that I've thrown out here? What do you think about the idea that a feeling of unsafety fundamentally is behind any inability you have to make money or be successful in your business or make sales or whatever? What do you think about that? What do you think about the idea that, when you're in conflict with people in relationship because you lack safety? What do you think about the idea that when you're angry about what's going on politically in our world, when you're, irate over these draconian abortion bans, that fundamentally, that rage is coming from a place of unsafety? What do you think about that? Are you even willing to explore the idea that there are ways in which you feel threatened and vulnerable and unsafe? I mean, that's scary, right? To even think about. And so just give me some feedback. What do you think about that? Are you willing to even go there? Are you willing to think about it, talk about it, explore it? And as I said, if you're really, really willing to explore it and go there, come to my website and check out my coaching services. I do a free 1-hour consultation on the front end so we can get to know each other. And there's also a bunch of free stuff over there. And finally, if you don't need help, but you want to help me stay in a place of doing this, putting these ideas out into the world, supporting my work, my videos, my writing, my books, I accept patronage on QuickPay and on PayPal. So would love if you feel called to do that, to receive your support in that way. So thanks, and be safe out there.